Am I the asshole? For telling my childhood friend he's heading for 400 pounds? My friend James and I, both 42 meters, have known each other since 3rd grade. He's always been a bigger guy, I've always been a bit leaner until recent. In our late 30s I put on about 40 pounds to now be around 270. James put on weight as well and is in the 325 range. We're both taller guys but still too heavy for either of us. Over the years, we've both tried dieting in different forms as both of our wives are supportive and would like to join us and lose weight as well. After watching a few "Where Does Your Meat Come From" type documentaries, not preaching, I promise, my wife and I decided to try switching to a plant-based diet. We're not vegan, we still eat cheese sparingly, and skim milk on occasion, but neither of us have eaten any meat whatsoever in 8 weeks. I'm down 31 pounds, my wife is down almost 24 pounds. So I see my buddy about a month ago, when I was down 10-15, and he says I look great and what am I doing differently? I tell him we're trying a plant-based diet, and before I could get too deep into any explanation, he kind of cuts me short, laughs, says this is all BS, and don't start bragging around his wife as he'll never give up meat. Okay, terrific. I wasn't planning to, and also you asked me, I didn't even bring it up right now. But we leave it there. Last night we were all at another friend's house for dinner and drinks, and our host mentions my wife and I look terrific, and my wife brings up what we're doing. Despite it being received positively by everyone else with well wishes, my buddy gets all pissed off and starts openly announcing eating meat is a vital necessity to every diet, starts calling me a soy boy, lol, and looks at his wife and says don't even consider it, it's never happening. He tells everyone the only reason we're losing weight is because we're clearly starving ourselves and anyone could get the same results on any diet, doing the same. To which my reply was, we've tried other diets without results, you know this. Maybe if you pulled your head out of your A for a minute you'd see I'm not trying to recruit you for anything, and your facts are wrong. There are entire regions of the world that don't eat meat, dairy, and all much healthier than Americans as a whole. But by all means, keep on the heavy carb red meat diet and let us all know when you hit 400. This was a frustrating event because I don't initiate this conversation with anyone for a fear of exactly this happening. Eating meat or not eating meat triggers something in people. Regardless, my friend went to the bathroom and a couple minutes later excused himself, and he and his wife left. The dinner was fine after. The other couples all felt like he attacked us unprovoked, but he's a longtime friend. I'm 100% confident our friendship will survive this, but I still need to know if I apologize for my half of the incident, regardless of what was said in his half. Was I the off for how I handled it? I'm a guy who lost 100 pounds, and I can tell you that I got a wide range of responses. In general, people told me how great I looked and were incredibly positive. The only people who weren't were other overweight friends of mine, who never lost an opportunity to make a negative comment. Usually it was along the lines of, you'll gain it all back or something like that. At a certain point, I realized that weight loss takes a lot of effort and discipline and real lifestyle changes, and that people who are looking for an easy fix are not going to get the results they want. Mixing in a salad once a week is not going to cut it. It requires many hours of exercise and a completely different relationship with food. The people who were making negative comments had all tried to lose weight in the past and failed and just weren't convinced that it was possible for them. Not the asshole, but this all seems so misdirected to me. You're losing weight most likely because removing meat from your diet most likely has caused you to end up eating overall healthier and lower calorie food. Your friend is right that any diet could achieve the same results. And you are right that any diet could fail. You found one that works for you and your wife, and that's great. It wouldn't necessarily work for others. So it seems to me like both your friend initially and then you in your response made this about meat when it isn't. It's about healthier life choices, which can include meat or not include meat. Not the asshole. One fat person to another. Sometimes you have to try tough love. I'm 35 and a year ago I was 400 pounds. That shit sucks. And it took having a little slip on some wet grass and needing surgery because of how fat I was to get me to do something about it. I'm down to 315 pounds now and kicking myself for not doing it sooner. Better to see if he'll wake up if you hit his ego than to wait until he really gets hurt or has a heart attack. Not the asshole. When I went plant-based, I lost an entire Backstreet Boy. I am not vegetarian. I do eat poultry at times but no red meat and limited dairy. I do not go to the gym but I do walk and hike with my dogs every day. The best part has been how easy it has been to keep it off, whereas with other weight loss attempts I eventually regained. I firmly believe it's the sugar. Eating primarily plant-based eliminated processed and sugary foods right off the bat, and I'll be honest, the first month was rough. Sugar addiction is real. But once you get over the hump and realize how good you can feel, you don't know what you don't know, it becomes second nature. My 43-year-old son weighed close to 400 pounds, he was 6 feet 5. He had a blood clot after a routine surgery. His weight put too much strain on his recovery. He died October 6. Take care of your health now. ESH. You both said some pretty awful things. That said, I feel like you may be being preachy and don't realize it. You keep describing it like you're going off on some windy descriptions before I could get too deep. You're eating a plant-based diet. It isn't that deep. If someone asks what you're doing, it should literally be a 1-3-sentence description. I'm doing a plant-based diet and exercising, etc. Then, if someone asks for details about plant-based diets, you give it, but don't give a lengthy description unprompted, because then it can seem preachy, especially if it is to someone who is struggling with weight. Not the asshole, and if it were anything other than vegetarianism, everyone would agree. Not the asshole here. People really need to learn as children, if you can't handle the heat, don't step onto the kitchen. He was antagonistic, rude, and mocked you because he was insecure. Only insecure men with toxic masculinity worry about being a soy boy or whatever dumb stuff conservatives make up. Perhaps consider a few-day cool-off, and send a text or call saying, "Hey, this whole thing has blown out of proportion. I reacted strongly because from the get-go you attacked me and my choices. Perhaps we can both agree that whatever diet we choose the other will respect, and let's move past this."